Hi, I'm Bukeka. I'm the B.
And I'm Enolia, and I'm the E.
Together, we are Be Empowered.
The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. It's calling me to listen more, talk less, and hold the light. The universe is calling me to be.
We believe that deep in our souls, we hold conversations, but for whatever reasons, we do not always take the opportunity to speak from our hearts.
We want you to imagine that you're sitting right here with us now, sipping a cup of tea or coffee at our dining room table, and we're having that conversation. You know, the one that encourages, inspires, and motivates you to the infinite possibilities that your life has to offer.
Let us help you to expand your imagination, to create your beautiful dream into reality. It starts right here and right now, because the universe is calling you to be.
The universe is calling me to be. The universe is calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. It's calling me.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome again to Be Empowered. My name is Bukeka. I'm the B, and we have the wonderful Enolia, and she is the E in Be Empowered. Yes.
Hello, everyone. It's Enolia here with Miss Beautiful Bukeka Style Blakemore, and I'm so happy to be here. And we just have this phenomenal episode to bring to you today. Bukeka?
So, today we're talking about financial empowerment. And I am brimming with enthusiasm to talk about this because it's so very, very, very important. It's important from this perspective of freedom for our family. It's important for the perspective of our own self-worth and what we can do in the world, what we're here to do in the world. Financial empowerment allows us to step into our power and create the things that we want to create that involve commerce, frankly, right? When it comes to financial empowerment, I am so excited about this topic. So, Enolia, where should we start? Let's just jump into it.
Well, why don't we talk about what creates the foundation of financial freedom? What do we have to establish to build upon that? And I would say that the first and foremost is that we have to establish the right mindset. Okay? If you have been struggling and struggling and struggling, and you look at everything such that how can I just make it? How can I just get by? How can I squeeze this in and squeeze that in? That's not the right mindset.
Absolutely. Now, I think that when we are starting out as entrepreneurs or changing our mindset to focusing on how we can be financially empowered and how we can do things, I think we need to look at what is it that I have, what are my gifts, what am I passionate about, and how are other people able to resonate with that will equate to commerce. Some people nail that down to how to monetize my passion, right?
You're absolutely right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right about that. And believing in what it is that you have passion about. Okay. So, first of all, trusting yourself, understanding that you're able to make a mistake and that you can recover from making a mistake, how to pick yourself up. I mean, all of these little pieces are the collective that lay a strong foundation for the person who dares to endeavor and try for something that's huge, or try for something that's always been in their vision, but they didn't feel that they could always reach. Knowing that what you have to say and your thoughts and how you collectively organize everything is of value. Sometimes understanding where your strengths and your weaknesses are. So in other words, you might be that person, you're the creative, you understand exactly what it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to look, but you don't know how to organize every activity in order to get it to that point of knowing where you have the vision. Well, then that's when you engage people who can help you and assist you, such that if that's not your strength, you get somebody who's great at organizing and breaking down the work breakdown structure and assisting you and knowing exactly what it is that you want to do. There are pieces and parts, but really to ensure that you have that strong foundation, it starts with your mindset. It starts with knowing that you are capable, that you have the ability to do it, that you may not have every puzzle piece in place, that you might hit challenges that says, okay, I need funding here, I need resources there, and that you will get over those hurdles and not try to take on all of the hurdles right up front. That discourages you from embarking on the endeavor in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. So, a lot of times our audiences will hear you say, "Oh, I'm going to take it a little bit deeper." So
Mm-hmm.
we hear that from you. So I'm going to borrow that line. I'm going to take it a little bit deep.
Yes.
You know, finances are connected with so many pain points.
Yeah.
When we really look into ourselves and try to discover where is my mindset in relationship to money, a lot of times that hits some really deep pain points, especially because a lot of times when we think about struggling, we think about struggling from the standpoint of what we don't have or what we're not able to afford financially. We've seen our parents struggle. Many people who are listening to this have seen our parents struggle to try and put food on the table, to try and figure out ways to pay the light bill, the gas bill, to do those kinds of things. And when we see those types of experiences in our childhood, we begin to have a certain mindset. There's also the mindset that comes with how we've seen them try to overcome those hurdles, right? So they get the job. They get the job and they're paid a certain salary. And, as economics in the world changes, sometimes that salary no longer meets the need required to live in a way that is going to lead to our greatest well-being. So we've seen people in jobs thinking that they're going to be able to do all of these things, but then again, there's a salary cap. Like we hear a lot in sports, there's a salary cap on that. In your job, there's only so much money that you are going to be able to make, and that's okay. I mean, you've got a job, if there's a salary with it, but then you're now thinking about, well, but is this amount of money going to help me do the things that I really want to do, live where I want to live, have the things I want to have, travel to the places that I want to travel? And if not, then you've got to switch your mindset to how to use the funds and resources that you have to create the life that you want to have, to create the things that you want. And if you don't have that mindset, if it's still stuck with watching your parents struggle, with having a sense of poverty or having a sense of I don't have enough, then no matter what you do, no matter what endeavor you try to take on that's going to possibly increase that financial well-being, it's not going to happen because you don't have the right mindset, because you're stuck in a pain point that is related to money.
You're absolutely right. And this is why I go back to that building that foundation that's really, really strong, because the thing about it is that you're stuck in a story. You're stuck in a story that you've told yourself, I can't do X or I can't do Y. And really, it's not about being stuck in the story, because we're creative. And you know what? If you expand your mind and you understand that, you are capable of receiving that money can come some kind of different way. And what happens is that we get a set way that we have to view how it's going to come. And we close off the other alternatives of ways that things can come. It can come sideways. And you wouldn't know. But because you're so focused on this is the way it has to come, you've closed off the avenues that this is the way it could come. So that's part of the foundation. That's part of understanding the fact that the creativity that you have is the door that expands and opens the door for everything to come and be received any kind of way so that you can move forward. It's like if I only see that the way that I am going to be blessed with the higher job is because I need to get a promotion. I have to get a promotion. If I don't get that promotion, I won't have a better job. The promotion's the only way it can come. And I never entertained the fact that if I left the job and pursued a different job and the promotion comes because I'm with a different company and a different avenue and a different door open for me, or I started my own business. All of these things are opportunities. And we could be at that crossroads. And what we have to do is we have to recognize it's a crossroads. It's not just one line of sight.
Yeah.
And that closes doors to so many different things for people. They only see one way. And my mom had that beautiful saying of there's no such thing as no, there might be such a thing as not that way. And so it might not be that it can only come from this direction. You need to open up your heart and open up your mind and say, okay, I will receive this any way that it comes, and I may not actually see the way that it's coming, but I know that it's going to come. Hold that space for the fact that it will take place.
Right, right. My platform of worthy of wonderful, and that whole idea of worthiness. I spoke with someone a few days ago who was talking about how we often will put a price, we'll put a price tag on everything. And then we'll have a perception about what that price tag means, right? So, we see a $40 million yacht and go, wow, that's wonderful, right? But then we look at the little, canoe and go, oh, that's nice, that's cute, okay? But think about it, the canoe in its history, and of course, you're so accustomed to knowing the indigenous world and that ability to just get in that little boat and get from one thing to the next, that has tremendous value, okay? And if that 40-foot yacht sinks, it's going down fast, right? It won't matter.
And it can't navigate as quickly, and it can't navigate as in those narrow corners either.
That's right. But what is the price tag that we put on ourselves? Well, we're priceless, but we often don't have the ability to look at ourselves that way. We don't look at ourselves as worthy, as having, or worthy of being what we have come to be in the world. We'll put a price tag on the boat, we'll put a price tag on the dress, but we won't see the value in our own selves.
And see, the whole thing is that the financial freedom starts with your mind. It starts here and in your heart. It's the foundation that creates everything else. If you're doing what you love and you really, really embrace it, then finances is the byproduct by which results in doing what you love. And I'm going to say this again. If you're doing what you love, then the byproduct of doing what you love are the income, because you're doing what you love. Yes, we need capital. Yes, we need this. Yes, we need that. But do what you love, and then it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
It doesn't feel like work. If you get up every single day and you love the ocean and you just want to fish, and you decide, okay, I'm going to make fishing my vocation, and you get that little onboard motorboat, and you take one or two people out, and you've done that enough times, now you can get a little bit bigger boat, and you take people out, and you keep doing that times, and then you get a little bit bigger, and then next thing you know, you're sponsoring big, fishing trips, and you're on the beautiful boat liner and everything. It all started because you had this passion. You had this passion for fishing. And then when you were taking those people on the little trips, it wasn't work.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh, I have to go fishing today. It's like, oh, I get to do what I love. And by the way, I bring a couple of other people, and I get to grow what it is my passion is.
Yeah.
And if we embarked on what we love and what we want to put forward in our purpose in life that way, I mean, it would just be wondrous. Because when I'm doing retreats and I'm sitting at some beautiful hotel resort or side of the ocean or jungle or whatever the case may be, and I'm sitting here looking at my beautiful surroundings, and I get to help people unravel their issues, I love that work. I love that work. Oh, this is work. Being at a beautiful resort helping people through their problems, not a problem for me. I could do this all day long, day in, day out.
Yeah.
So find what you love. It's not always all about the materialism of having every T crossed and I dotted to have all of the material pieces in place. Be creative and embark on your dream and grow it. And grow it. Don't let those things be stopgaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
To pursuing your vision.
Yeah.
And hold it.
Absolutely. And what I want our listeners should also realize is that humanity loves commerce.
Yes, they
We
do.
love commerce. And what aligns with commerce is experience. People love to have a variety of experiences. They love to experience life. So for those of us that find, I want to live my passion. I want to get on this boat and I want to share this experience of fishing with someone. When they see you're passionate about it, and they want to share in that experience, because we love to to expand our own experience, and we will pay for that. We will enter into a commercial transaction for an experience that is going to be meaningful to us. And if you're providing that experience, if you've opened the door, then why not? Why not have someone engage in that commerce, in that transaction, so that they can have the experience that they want while you get the experience that you want? That's what we do all day long. I don't care if it's eBay. I don't care if it's whatever it is. People are entering into commerce all the time. I've got a friend, because I tell my grandkids, I'm not your grandma, I'm your grandma. Okay. Right. Right. And so I have a friend that sells these beautiful lashes. These beautiful lashes. I'm like, oh, that's so fun. And I love the way they look, and I love having it on me. So I have the whole experience in the mornings. If I want to get glammed up, I've got my lashes on, I've got my earrings on, and I'm in that experience. But how I got to that experience, I went into a commercial transaction with my friend who sells the lashes. I went into a commercial transaction with the people that sell the earrings. I went into a commercial transaction with my phone so that I can take the picture of me and my lashes and my earrings, right? So, and
Right.
in that whole experience, I had an experience of joy, but in that experience, there were all these commercial transactions that took place. And she's very grateful that I purchased my lashes from her. The store owner is very happy that I purchased my earrings from there. And my cell phone carrier is really happy that right? They're always happy. But I think it's important for people to know, to not be afraid to jump into commerce, to not jump into a situation where they're able to monetize their passion, because people want to engage in experiences, and your passion may be the very thing that enables them to do that. So don't be afraid to jump into the water of commerce and financial abundance.
And then the other piece of this is, don't be afraid to open a book. And I know that this sounds a little bit sarcastic, but I'm not being sarcastic at all. No pun intended, none whatsoever. But a lot of times we have hurdles as individuals, and we're like, oh, but I don't know this. Oh, but I don't know that. Anything that you need to know is in a book.
Yeah.
Anything you need to know about how to conduct business is in a book. And then here's the other thing about it. Life is nothing but a series of processes. Right? So you just have to figure out what the process is for what you want. So the book knowledge is basically to say, I understand the difference between an LLC versus a corporation versus an S Corp, and the knowledge that we have to have. And if you don't understand it and you still don't understand it, then you sit down with a business person, because that's what networking is all about. Tell me a little bit more. I just need to be able to have a conversation with someone so that I can grasp this concept. But however you need to learn, take the time to embrace that learning. You know, I hear this all the time with the digital world and the Web3 world, right? Take the time with someone who understands that world, or take a series of classes and repeat it until it clicks with you. And break through the barriers that you create yourself, which is, and I hear this all the time, oh, I don't understand that world. I can't dabble in it. Oh, I'm skeptical of that world because because you don't understand what or how to enter it or operate within it, it has to be taboo. And that's just not the case. These worlds are going to exist whether we choose to engage in them or not. And they are going to become more and more prevalent and more important. And soon you're not going to be able to be given an opportunity not to learn. You'll have to learn. You'll be forced to it. It was just like, I remember the very first time, and I'm dating myself here, a .com came on board. And I was like, oh, well, there's a .com. What the heck is that? Well, you know what? I'll outlast that, and that'll disappear too. And little did I know that everything is a .com. And everything is the internet. And at first it's like, I don't trust that internet. I would never buy anything on the internet. I don't trust that stuff. And look at us all now, right? So the paradigm shifted. People, the paradigm is shifting again. And it's called digital coins and cryptocurrency. And we may not like it, but take the time to learn what's going on also in the industry, because that may hold the financial freedom that you're looking for. And because you've been so skeptical, and because you've been so down on it and not understanding it, because you don't want to open up a book or take a video class, because they have everything visual and video now, so that you don't even have to read a book. That might be the door open that you've been waiting for the whole time, and you just never took the time to embrace it. So again, why do I say that our personal development is important? Because part of your personal development is understanding that, and I've always said this to myself, I can grasp anything as long as I can read it. I went to school, I opened up a book, I learned X out of that book, and then I executed from learning out of that book. Some faster, some slower. But I'm capable of doing that. If you are an artist and all of a sudden want to become an engineer, there are engineering books left and right. You may have to study your butt off to glean those concepts, because those concepts aren't necessarily your strength, but you're capable of doing it.
Right.
That's just another little tidbit. Open up a book, have the discussion, repeat it over and over again until you glean the concept, and then allow yourself to enter in new realms that you may need to enter in order to embrace new concepts.
Yes, I love everything that you just said, Enolia. I mean, we have to be able to learn and expand and grow. That's how we thrive as human beings. That's how we become better at what we do in everything. And one of the things I want to remind people, especially again, you being so astute in the indigenous world, let's think about how commerce began, right? I mean, we used to trade beads.
Yes, we did.
We used to trade silks and fabrics and things, materials. That was our money. Now, so imagine when people started to transition from fabrics to gold and gems and so forth, and then who established the value of those things, right? Who made the decision that a pound of gold was going to be worth so much, or a diamond was going to be worth so much? People had to become educated, and they had to learn about how those were shifting. Then, oh my gosh, paper. paper. Well, when people started to have to understand that now currency was now a piece of paper or a little coin. So we're always evolving as humanity, and we have to understand that so is everything else in it, as well as as well as economics, as well as finances, and as well as how we do commerce. So if you're having any kind of questions about how to enter into this new phase of commerce, you got to become educated, and you can't be afraid to do it. You and I are from a particular era in life, and those young those youngins are biting at the bit to enter into this new world of commerce, where we're really having to be one of those individuals that has to learn about it, because we're so accustomed to having it be a certain way. But as we have learned and seen throughout history, it's going to change, it's going to evolve. And so we should be leaders. Actually, we should be leaders in knowing about that, so that we can put our maturity, so that we can use our maturity, what we've learned in life, and apply this new currency in a way that's going to be impactful for multiple generations, and not just ourselves.
Well, the thing about it is that we forget that no matter what age, you have to learn, right? So the bottom line is that, we have our kids in school, and if you're anywhere between 20 and 30 years old, you've just gotten out of a cycle of opening up a book and learning for years and years and years and years and years, right? At least in certain countries, it's required, right? You have to learn until you're at least 21 years old or 18 years old, right? But you can pick up a book, understand that, there's knowledge there, you have to glean it and everything else. So what stops us from being older and doing the same thing, except conditioning? Condition that, oh, I don't have to do this anymore. Oh, it's too much work. Oh, I don't have to put forth an effort. And then the excuse, and I hear this from people, and I don't even understand it. I'm too old to do that. There's no such thing as you're too old to do anything. I know people who are 60 years old and 70 years old going after their PhD and deciding that they're going back to school. When we set our minds to what we need to do, we can get it accomplished, period. So, if you're one of those people who says, oh, it's too much work, it's not too much work. You've just set your mind to the fact that you rather stay, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but you'd rather stay ignorant about it than take the time to learn. We have to learn these things. And even if you do it a little breath at a time, if you have young people in your family, sit down with them, let them tell you about it. Ask. Let them tell you about the digital world and Web3 world, and what, a particular area is. What is NFTs and, non-fundable tokens and so on and so forth. Let them help you to understand what the currencies are, and the fact that there are multiple cryptocurrencies, and the most popularized ones are Bitcoin and so on and so forth. It's just a conversation. It's not going to hurt you. Financial freedom, to me, is basically sitting down and having the conversation and understanding that resources can come from multiple places in many ways, and that now in this really crazy world, we have multiple paths by which we can seek it.
Yeah.
We can seek it the traditional way, we can seek it the new way. And that we have multiple worlds that we can play in. So isn't that interesting? Learn about money. Learn about money. Learn about the worlds by which it is made in, and the worlds by which it is kept in, and the worlds by which it is manipulated in. There is a level by which we need to arrive, and it's time. And you know what? You're not going to be able to get away with it too much longer to not know. You're just not.
Girl, you're hitting on some points. I'm just sitting here going, man, oh man. So let me tell you, when I think about the fact, because we started out talking about mindset, and now we've kind of moved into conditioning. And I want to talk about that for just a minute. especially to the young people, our schools do not talk about financial freedom. Why is that? When being financially astute and aware actually does add to the value of any commerce, why would we not want to make sure that everybody understands how it works? Well, the reason why, at least in my opinion, that we don't make sure that everyone understands how it works is because that keeps certain people with the knowledge, with the money. If you don't have the knowledge about the money, you don't have the money. But if you have the knowledge about the money, you got the money. So what I am encouraging young people to recognize the fact that if you're not learning about how finance works, how commerce works, and how economies work, you're going to school and you're learning about how to add it all together, multiply it, put it in all kind of mathematical formulas, which is definitely your world, Enolia, as a math genius as you are, but you're not learning about how to create wealth with it. And I am encouraging people to understand when you're 18, when you're 28, when you're 38, you need to start thinking about the fact that you have the power to create generational wealth. You have the power and the right to create wealth for yourself. That is a right that you have. So as you're going through school and you're noticing when it comes to money, what you're learning about is how to get a job and how to get a job that pays you. Now, I have no knocks about having a job at all. I mean, it's income, it's fine. But don't get it confused with building wealth. A job helps you to bring in income, but you want to make sure that you're circulating that income so that it leads to not having a salary cap. Jobs have salary caps, like we talk about in sports sometimes. And I just mentioned that. So what we want to do is we want to start thinking beyond and expanding our understanding of what money and commerce can do, not just for ourselves right now, but what that can mean for generations to come and your community. Because if you're engaging in financial education and development, then you are then empowering yourself to do more for yourself and other people. So I say that because it's very important. It's how countries are built. Am I right, Enolia? It's how countries are built. People build masses of institutions and organizations because they have learned how to take the commerce of that and expand it. You take the commerce and you expand it. So I really want young people to know, don't limit yourself. Just because you don't have the doctorate yet, or you don't have all the education yet, don't limit yourself to what you're learning right now. Do like Enolia says, expand your knowledge, go to people that have the things or know the things that are going to help you grow financially, apply it and put that into circulation, literally and figuratively. Put that circulation into your community, into your into your education, into things that are going to help you grow. I really am kind of passionate about this because I work within a financial institution, and what I came to find out when I started working with this financial institution is that I had so little knowledge about financial wealth and abundance. I had so little knowledge about what that could mean for my children, my grandchildren, and the children that I will never see. And what I know is that there are people that have that knowledge, and that's how they set things up for the future of not only their family, but for communities and civilizations. Does that make sense? So don't think of it yourself just as this one island of how do I get a job? How do I make some money? How do I put gas in my car? Think about it in a much broader perspective and see what that means for your lifetime and not just your life today.
And I'm sitting here listening to you, and because I've lived on a couple of different continents, I'm going to share just a little bit of knowledge about this. We talk about third world countries and then we talk about first world countries. And I'm going to tell you something that I noticed about first world countries versus third world countries. First world countries, and we talk about the United States, Europe, so on and so forth. You may not know about money, but they will teach you about debt.
Won't they?
They will teach you about debt. You will be in debt up to your eyeballs. You will know debt before you come out of school. You will know debt before you go into school. You will know debt. Debt will be your best friend in a first world country.
Yep.
Now, let me tell you about a third world country. Everything has to be prepaid before you do it. So even though you're sitting there looking at third world countries going, oh my God, look, they're starving. Oh my God, look, they are not in debt. I'm going to say it again, and I don't mean to be facetious about it, but I'm going to say it again. They are not in debt. They have a pay-as-you-go system. You want electricity, you pay for the electricity runs out, you need more electricity, right? And first world country, oh, we'll give it to you on credit, right? And then what happens is that you do that over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you look up, and then you're actually in a worse sinking hole than to say, okay, I got to figure out how to generate wealth in order to maintain my living sustainability, but I owe nobody anything.
Yes. And remember, Enolia, remember when credit used to be a taboo? Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when your parents never, oh, I don't want to put, if I put it on credit, that means that I don't have this or that. They didn't want to put it on credit. They wanted to pay for it right then and there. But what happened is that because in first world countries, they found that if you can get people in debt, right, then there's going to be some people that are going to never be in debt and won't ever go the route of debt because they've created 99% of the population to basically pay their way for them by having them go in debt.
Right. So if you don't learn anything else, learn not to go into debt. Pay your way as you go. And, a lot of people will say, well, I have to get my education and everything else. But remember, you pay thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to what? To go on site to read a book and have the professor go over it with you. Open up the damn book and teach yourself if you can't afford it. I don't want to belittle it like this, but you can have discussion groups. You can pick up textbooks and you can... we learn. I know it sounds crazy. I know. But if you think about it, it's crazy. You go thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. And you could go, I don't know, pay $400 worth of books and sit down and discipline yourself.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Knowledge. Yeah.
Knowledge is what we want, and then wealth is what we want to create. But what our society sets us up for in first world countries is debt. So we have to go against the paradigm and understand how to create wealth from an early age, from the beginning, because our jobs are set up so that we stay in the cycle of debt. Because by the time you get a job, you're in debt because you got the education in order to get the job. So the job is just enough to pay off your debt. And then by the time you pay off your debt from school, you've created more debt because you want a house, you wanted this, you wanted that. And the debt cycle goes on and on and on. And it's a great slave cycle.
Sure is.
It's a great slave cycle.
Yep.
And that's what we do.
And that's what we do. So it is imperative that we change our mindset. We've got to change our mindset from us, what people say is a slave mentality. And I don't want to belittle, I don't want to make people feel like live their whole life in error. Okay. I don't want to do that. I want
You
people to be educated to know that no matter, like you said, what age you are, you can step into the world of financial freedom and create a life that is going to be meaningful for you. Um, the other thing too is we talked about time, and you mentioned that as well, that you don't want to have your life eaten away by doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that. You want to be able to find your passion, and you want to be able to earn a living from your passion.
know.
What I would say to that is that the reason why you maybe put in the hours and you do the learning and the education is so that at the point where, so that you can have the life that brings you joy, peace, balance, and sufficiency. And you have to believe that you are sufficient. You have to believe that you are enough. You have to believe that you have the ability within you to have the life where you have peace of mind, where you don't have to worry if your bill is going to get paid, if your lights are going to be cut off, where you don't have to be concerned whether or not you can get from point A to point B. It does take some effort. It does take some work. It does take the time and the energy to put things in place. And so that might not always look like leisure, right? But it does allow you to forecast how you can create the life of peace, the life of no worry that you want. So I guess I say all of that to say, yes, you when you're endeavoring into how to create financial wealth for yourself, it's going to take some work, some effort, some education, some time in, some consistency, some doing mundane things on a daily basis.
Why I said what I said is so that when the opportunity comes to expand
Yeah,
beyond the routine,
yeah,
this is why it's so important to go beyond the routine, because the routine sets you up for debt.
right, right, yeah,
It sets you up to stay in a routine of, I have the job, I pay this off. I have the job, I pay the next thing off. I have the job, I pay the next thing off. And when you find something that creates wealth and doesn't fit in that subroutine, don't just automatically go, it's too hard to believe it's true.
right, right,
Because what we are conditioned to and what we are accustomed to is what we're trying to break out.
yeah,
We're trying to get out of that pattern. We're trying to get out of that routine in order to dare to try something that we love
right.
versus what we're responsible to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
You know? So I don't know how our audience is feeling. We just, it was just a discussion. We're sitting here looking at it ourselves and going, financial freedom means establishing a strong foundational mindset, but also creativity and opening your heart and your mind to some new things.
Yeah,
And dare to step out of the routine and dare to step out of your fear
yeah,
of breaking the routine.
right.
What would you add to that, Bukeka, before we leave?
The affirmation, I am enough. As you focus on this, just remember that you are enough. You have enough intelligence, you have enough energy, you have enough support to create the life that you want to have. And as you affirm that and as you believe it, all the things that you desire will show up with ease and effortlessness. I am enough.
I am enough. I love that. And I want you to leave with I am capable.
Yeah.
See, I remember when I left my corporate job and I dared to open up and start my own business, and I didn't know anything about opening up my own business, but I called 12 friends to just say, will you hold circles for me? Because my new business was empowerment circles. And I remember going over 12 different friends' homes and doing what I perceived, what it was I loved to do, and having that conversation. And that conversation stimulated 22 states and 4 countries later to dare to do what I love to do, because the power of what I was doing was felt and word of mouth got out, and then I could formalize it. Sometimes it just takes asking for help and support to dare to step into what you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't have a preconceived notion of what it has to look like. Let it just be, and let it open up, and just don't be afraid to move forward, to navigate through.
Well, everyone, this has been another exhilarating topic on Be Empowered. Empower yourself financially, folks, and really do that. Take the time to learn, take the time to explore what your mind is saying to you when it comes about money, and challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to go above and beyond it. Get the help, get the support, get the knowledge, and be empowered. How about that? Yeah, financially.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you. Thank you for another wonderful episode of my dear friend Bukeka. I love you. I love you. And joining us here on Be Empowered, I'm Enolia.
And I'm Bukeka and Enolia. I love you too. Thank you so much. Go ahead and close us out, girl.
All I can say is bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Have a blessed day. We hope you enjoyed the show. We look forward to bringing you more shows in the future. To learn more about our co-hosts, check out their websites, www.bukekastyle.com and www.enolia.live. Learn about their masterclasses for conscious transformation, their personal coaching, along with their international retreats and expeditions. Are you an entrepreneur looking for another line of income? Check out www.planetmarketing.com/Enolia and www.planetmarketing.com/bblakemore. We are here to transform your life. Thank you for listening.